Mickey, good to see you over here, buddy.
Thanks, man. Good to see you too.
We're excited for today. Thank you, Mikey. You're Michael Bass. What do you want to go by, Mikey today? Michael?
It doesn't matter. You guys always call me Mikey in front of everybody, so it's fine.
I know. So
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know, Jeff and Mikey went to elementary school together, middle school, high school, and then now they work together post college. And so it's interesting to see him say, I'm Michael Bass and like be a professional because we see him like that guy from baseball, right? So we know him as Mikey, but most people who work with him know him as Michael Bass. And we are just so excited and honored. You've come so far. How long have you been in real estate now?
This is my 13th year. So 13.
That is wild. That
It
is.
is wild. It is wild. I agree. It's been a fun ride.
And Jeff, are you still on the Zoom?
Yeah.
Do you want to share your little story of, for those of you who are like, oh, I need to have everything perfect before I get into real estate, or I need to be prepared before I do that next chapter of how in the world, you were just recruiting everyone to Houston and how Mikey got sucked into the fabulous world of EXP, but of real estate in Houston and all the things. How did it start?
That was it. Good story. Um, well, when I was sick, this is Mikey soon, but when I was 16, my sister called me and she said, I don't know who to tell this to, but I got $60,000 today from double ending a deal. And when she told me that, I was like, wow, you make 60 grand on one deal. So I was like, at 16, I was like, I want to do real estate. So moved down to Houston. I was just with my sister, and my girlfriend Amanda. Um, and then I just started recruiting everyone down to Houston so I could hang out with some people. So I kind of recruited Mikey down here. I recruited my buddy Jeremy down here, Ryan down here, and my buddy Devin down here. Uh, it was funny. Mikey came down here, quit his job, and moved in with us. Just lived in the guest bedroom. Then he did real estate for about 6 months, didn't get paid. He's about to quit, and he finally got paid. And then rest is history.
What
That's
were you doing before that, Mikey?
I managed some cell phone stores.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was working in the cell phone industry, selling cell phones. That's what I did right after high school. I got into that, and I actually really liked it, funny enough, but I didn't like the hours. But I loved the people that I worked with, the interaction with people as well, customers or whatever. But yeah, that's what I was doing before real estate.
and how old were you when you moved, when Jeff convinced you to move here?
Oh shoot, 23? Yeah,
Okay.
I would be 23 at that point because I'm 36 today. So yeah,
Happy
moved.
birthday.
Not
Happy
today, but
No,
birthday.
I was like, what?
as of today, I'm, 30
Okay. I was
or
like,
not. I'm 30, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying. I'm 36 now. So yeah, 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 yeah. So it was a big move for sure. And funny enough, I had interviewed at the basically corporate cell phone store that I was working for because I was trying to get a promotion, and I ended up not getting that. And this was all going on at the same time, so I'm thankful that I didn't get that because then it just was like, you know what, let's just go try Houston. Stormy, my wife, had just graduated nursing school, so came down here. She got a job in the med center like immediately. And she supported us for a while. So, that that's how
He
that
never
went.
paid me $1 in rent. He was there for 6 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what you do though with friends. You don't
That's
pay rent.
That's
so
brave
did
though, to like quit your everything. You had been in that job, you had consistent income, your wife had just finished college, you guys had just gotten ready for the next chapter, and then you're like, I'm just gonna move to Houston by myself and figure it out. And then Stormy's just gonna pray she gets a job afterwards. Like that's a huge leap of faith.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you have such a false, well, when you don't know the business and you don't know about it, you have like a false idea of what real estate's going to be, and you just think you're going to just start, making so much money, and you're going to be, doing all this really cool, like all these really cool things, but that did not happen.
So why didn't you quit? Like 6 months in a new city, I think I would have been out month three. I'm thankful you didn't quit because 13 years later you're killing it. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, so joined a team. team. Jeff was on this team as well. So kind of the story here. So I joined a top real estate team. The team owner there really taught scripts, dialogues, dialing, all of that good stuff. Very, very hardcore. And that's what he required us to do. And I had a couple issues, but my first issue was time management. I was terrible at time management at first because I was coming from a corporate job where, someone's telling you, hey, you're here today 9 to 5, tomorrow you're going to be here, whatever, 11 to 7, you're going to close the store down, whatever. You have these hours, and that wasn't the case in real estate. And so, I would work half days at first and go to the gym, play basketball a lot. Like yeah, I did not have a good work schedule. Because I just didn't know better, if that makes sense. And that really hindered me. And I think after, of course, after a few months, it was like, oh shit, well, I'm not going to be able to continue doing that. Like I'm going to have to actually have full work days here and stuff like that. So, and then yeah, Stormy, my wife, actually, we had the conversation. It was there 6 months in, and she used the term we have all heard. Hey, you're gonna have to get a real job if this doesn't, if you don't get paid. And I'm like, yeah, I feel you on that. I am gonna have to get a real job. And so, luckily, the consistency, as Jeff mentioned, was paying off at that point. I had some clients that were interested in purchasing. I was strictly a buyer's agent. I wasn't doing any listings, and yeah, had that first closing, and then the second and the third and the fourth, and it just kind of happened. It wasn't super consistent at first, but it was enough to get by. And then year two was better, doubled my business there. Year three basically did the same thing, and then the rest was history.
So you made that sound pretty smooth, like the transition from challenge to I got this. But what is kind of an early challenge that you would say or a struggle that you went through that most people maybe don't know you went through, personal or professional?
Um, well, so I mentioned it. I think the a big struggle I had was time management, time blocking. Huge. I mean, it was bad. You're right. I smoothed that over, but it was bad. Like, I mean, you go from, graduating high school to a job where you're told to do this, this, and this. You do that until you're 23, and then you're self-employed. And
Hmm.
so now I'm self-employed. I'm in this big city. I see a bunch of successful people. They don't look like they're working that hard, to be honest with you. I mean, that's how I've looked at it as well. And I'm like, well, shit, this is just going to fall into place. And that was a huge struggle for me. I was working a lot of half days, a lot. And
So were you living like on Jeff's couch or?
yeah, I mean, and they had an extra room. So, but yeah, that's where I was living. And then Stormy got down here, I want to say maybe 2 to 3 months after I moved to Houston. She had finished up, like she had I don't know, like a little contract for her first job out of college. So she had to finish that before she could start the
Mhm.
other one in Houston that she had gotten. And so, yeah, I was just, yeah, crashing there. And, you
So what
know,
did a day look like? Was it like video games and like sleeping
no.
in or?
No, no, no. We would be at the office. Like we had this team. Like I said, I was on this team, right? And the team, he was basically, hey, you have to hit 20 contacts a day. That's how we were brought up. So if you hit your 20 contacts, he didn't care what else you did. And so we would go to the office and we would just grind out 20 contacts. And then we'd go to lunch, go to the mall because we worked close to the mall. We'd walk around the mall. Um, We'd go to the gym early at 4. We'd play basketball 3, 4 hours. I mean, at that point, and then yeah, we do it again the next day and do it again the next day. And I do think I got a false sense of how real estate actually was because I came in kind of the later part of the year to where, you have holiday stuff going on. Maybe agents are kind of just focused on client retention and reaching out to clients and stuff like that. They're not actually, doing
Doing
what you
work?
in January. Yeah, the work.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what the days would look like. So, and I would do open houses, I'd do open houses on the weekend. But besides the contacts, like that's pretty much all I was doing. Contacts, open houses, going to the gym, hanging out.
That's what I love about this Zoom is we get to hear from people who are top producers and they get to share their, oh my gosh, I really wish I would have known this, or that was a waste of time, or this was a waste of money. And so you've had a lot of trial and error. And I think that the most successful people fail. We just fail faster. We fail more often, but we fail faster. What failure ended up being one of the biggest gifts or lessons that you have learned that you've been able to implement? And if you can share that, maybe that'll help others not have that same failure.
Man, I would say I don't think there was one biggest failure other than there was just so many failures. And I think people need to hear that when you get into this business, you're gonna fail and you're gonna fail a lot, and that's part of growing. Whether it's on the phone calls, whether it's, hopefully you never lose your client's earnest money or something, but we've all been there to where it's been close. If you haven't lost it, where it's been close, and you don't ever want to get to that point, but something happens and then you get to it and you're like, oh, I'm never going to let that happen again. And you never let it happen again. And that's the biggest thing. I feel like it's easy to get in groups like this and see successful people that never really make a lot of mistakes and are really good on the phone and really good at overcoming objections and, doing all that stuff. But we were all, a beginner at once that didn't know anything, that was timid on the phone. And whenever somebody hangs up on you, or for instance, I have an example where I was making just listed, just sold calls, and this lady asked me which listing actually sold. And I wasn't prepared for it, and I just hung up. I was like, hey, I just sold, the property down the street. And she said, oh, that's awesome. Which property? And I hadn't done any research at all and just hung up on her. I was like, I had no idea. So, I didn't do that again. Every time I made those calls, I would have a list of properties up from the brokerage that had sold. Therefore, I would have that. So it's funny. It's just, that's what it is, though. It's just failing, and being okay with it, because that is going to help you get to be that great agent that doesn't fail a lot.
That's awesome. I think we all have an embarrassing story, so I think that's great. I like you, back then it wasn't before cell phones, but you could have just done like a, hey, we lost our signal. Look it up real quick and call her back.
I was
But
embarrassed, Laura. I
yeah.
was so embarrassed, and
Yeah.
I was not confident. And like now, that's why I tell the team and I talk to the team now, and it's like, I mean, that stuff doesn't faze me at all. Calling these people and any kind of objection you throw at me, I'm going to be able to overcome it. It does not affect me. But
Yeah.
at that time, I'm just getting started. I was just, I was scared. I was nervous. I didn't want people to not like me. I wanted
Yeah.
everybody to like me,
Yeah.
even, and yeah, that was the issue.
So, I'm going to like go sidetrack a little bit for people
Sure.
that do make calls like this and they get stuck in a situation like that. I mean, we're going to assume that now you would be prepared, so you're always going to have the list of sales. But like if you got caught with the same circumstance and somebody asked you a question that you legitimately did know the answer to, what's your solution now? I mean, what would you do?
Honesty. If somebody asks me exactly, like if somebody asks me something I don't know, I tell them, hey, that's a
Yeah.
great question. I'm not sure actually, right off the top of my head, I don't know. The
Yeah.
good thing is I'm going to be able to find that out for you, and I'll give you a call back in 15 minutes.
Yep.
And that's what it is. Nobody cares that you don't know every
Yep.
single answer. Not one person.
Yeah. I think that's like, to me, that's authenticity. And that's what people pick up on even over the phone, right? So you
Yep,
probably now are so comfortable in your own skin and you figured out I can just be myself and it'll still work out.
that's
So
right. That's
don't
exactly
be,
right.
don't be scared of not knowing.
And side
So
note here, Laura, real quick. I used to have Jeff proof read my text messages, emails. That's how like not confident I was. And Jeff would always not even read it and say, "Sure, send it.
that
Sure,
is so
sure,"
Jeff.
because it doesn't matter, like just send it. And I finally understood what you meant by that too. It's just a confidence thing. Just send
Well, an imperfect action is better than no action. So. So when would you say, so
correct
it
for
sounds like
sure.
you got through the time management and kind of got in your groove. So when would you say your business took a turn for the better and when did you really start seeing like the real exponential growth into where you are today?
Yeah, I would say probably year 4 for me. I was consistently improving year over year. So I never took a step back. But Jeff used to say something to me and I never understood it. And I think finally it came through. But he would always say, you have to go into these appointments like you don't care that you're going to get them. Like it doesn't matter if you get it or not. And I always didn't understand that because I was like, well, I need that $10,000. I need that 15. At the time, I need that three. I need that $5,000. Like, I mean, and that's how I always thought about it. And I finally got it. And I don't know why, but buyers and sellers can feel that. They can feel if you are really kind of desperate for that financial, whatever success or gratitude that you're going to get, even if you're not, it's not like you're not trying to help them the best you can. And so now it's all a confidence thing. Like it doesn't matter what you're wearing or whatnot. If you go in there, you're going to have great connections with people, great conversations, and be authentic. And the successes just come from that. And you really don't care if you don't get it. If they don't hire you, I didn't want to work with them anyway. So
Oh, that's so
yeah,
hard to build up that confidence, right? If you're newer or if you haven't had that experience. Like the whole fake it till you make it is so true in real estate. So interesting.
agree.
And we used to joke about that. Like Jeff would walk into $1 million listing presentation and he just had this confidence, like, you're going to take it or leave it because I know I'm the best agent for the job and it's okay if you don't hire me, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for you. And you're right. They like that confidence and they like that you're going to be honest with me and you're not going to just be a yes man. You're going to like actually constructively tell me what I need to do. And I think that that's huge. Okay, I have a question for you. I feel like a lot of people look up to people who are selling a lot of houses. They look at Mikey and they're like, oh my gosh, it must be nice, or he got lucky, or I want to be him when I grow up, kind of thing. And, I want to duplicate what he did. But a lot of people, they see the top of the mountain, but they don't see all this stuff at the bottom that you had to do to get there. What sacrifice, if you could kind of share, like, what is a sacrifice that you made in real estate or in your business or in your life that most people that you see that want to be successful just aren't willing to make?
Time and effort. And there's no secret sauce here. All top producing agents would tell you that there's no secret sauce to becoming successful. It takes time to gain this confidence, like the confidence that you have, and that time consists of putting in the work, putting in phone calls, open houses, door knocking if that's your thing, sending out mailers, going to social events, doing all of those things to just help you get little by little more and more in tune with real estate, talking real estate, and being confident and comfortable. And then the effort behind it, most people I have now realized are not willing to put the time into doing what is the most like beneficial money making activity. And if anyone in here has taken a time blocking class, the most important things, and there's a lot of them, but money making activities, in my opinion, are the most important because you have to, keep doing those in order to make money. And I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, defer those out or they just kind of ignore them altogether and just try to maintain current business. And so again, making those calls day in and day out and being super hyper consistent with your systems and with your phone calls is really what you would want to focus on, and what most people are not willing to do. They all say they are, but they're not.
Yeah. And then they don't do their contacts and they're like, where's my pipeline? Where's my closings? Why am I not
Exactly.
busy? And we're like, what did you do all day? Yeah.
It's easy to get a pipeline. It really is. It just takes the effort of doing it, but it's easy to get one. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think, what do you think? I feel like when most really successful agents were in their build phase, I feel like they almost pretty much all worked 6 to 7 days a week, maybe seven. I would say 80% of them probably were, at least did some work 7 days a week. And do you agree with that? Was that kind of you?
100%. It's different now, for sure, with kiddos and everything like that. But yeah, early on, I mean, we would, get to the office at 8. We would leave usually around 6. Whenever I got my time blocking, stuff together, but
Mhm.
usually around 6, we would Jeff and I say we because Jeff and I we would go to the gym after that. We didn't have kids. We'd go to the gym. We would still play basketball 2 to 3 hours after that. Like we would do that every single day. Yeah, so we would be working a lot, and then on the weekends again, open houses, showings, appointments, doing all that stuff. I did not ever have like an off day. Like my off day was if I went on vacation. And then
Yeah.
even then it's not really an off day, but I'm not, prospecting. I'm still, but that was the only thing. So yes, and I love how you said build phase because that's another misconception I think a lot of people look at um, top agents and it seems so easy or lucky to them. It's because we've went through and we've grinded through that build phase to a point to where now for instance, like the vast majority of my client base is repeat and referral clients. I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah,
God,
because you
God
earned
bless,
it.
yeah, God bless entrepreneurs. Like we're the only ones that will work 80 hours a week to avoid the 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's really funny. I think you touched a little bit on some of them. Probably it sounds like basketball could be one of the answers here, but what kind of daily habits, rituals, and just you talked about time blocking and personal and professional. Do you think kind of anchor your success today in your, I would say, work-life balance? Now that we just talked about that, I think that's pretty. You seem like you're good at that now, right? And what do you do every day? What do you build in?
Yeah. Well, now I get up in the morning to get my workouts in. So I get up at 4:45 every morning.
Yeah.
I do my workouts. I help with the kids, make breakfast. I make breakfast. I usually cook, so I make breakfast for them. We get them to school. I get to the office by 8:30. And that's just Monday, Monday through Friday, every time. And then starting the day off like that. And when I was younger, I didn't get up in the morning. I hated that. And it's probably because I stayed up until, midnight or 1 or 2. And we probably partook at a few too many bars when we were younger, So, um, but yeah, that has changed for the better because now you get all that done. You don't have to worry about it during the day. Plus, it starts your day off like on such a high that it's just so easy to feel good the entire day. And then as far as work goes, it's just making sure that I do two main things really well: lead generate, lead follow up for me. Of course, you have to manage everything else in between, but as long as you lead generate and you lead follow up, you will continue to have business.
You seem to really have a great balance of work and life and schedule and who you are and how you want to show up and what you're willing to say yes to and what you need to say no to. Like you've kind of got the who is Michael Bass figured out. You're very dedicated and committed to your business, to your family, to your wife, to your health. What is one non-negotiable that you do every single day, regardless of how the day goes?
Workout. That's I do not really yeah, it's going to be working out. I mean that's it. Which I have goals for that as well, but if I have a good workout, it leads to me making better decisions when it comes to diet, when it comes to doing the work that I need to do in the office, not being lazy, not snacking like I might. And it's crazy how that mental shift happens, but it does. So if you work out every day, you just start being conscious about those little things that help tremendously throughout everything.
There's been like if I study millionaires or even billionaires, the majority of them are super fit and they are very disciplined in their personal life and that's carried on to their business life. Did you see an improvement in your business when you started taking your health more seriously?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple of additional systems I implemented, and well, no, I'll just say it. When I started doing like working out and everything, it helped me get a clearer mind for the rest of the day. Um, and it's really easy to get in habits and bad habits to where, again, diet or alcohol or something like that at night. It's not even overdoing it. It's just like you get in like this little habit to where then you wake up a little groggy and then you're just, you're slow getting going. And you get up to the office at 9, you're like, oh, need a cup of coffee. I need to do this. And so all of that has an effect on work and personal life. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think that's great. Jeff
So,
kind of like quit the whole alcohol concept. He's like, alcohol was fun in our 20s when we could bounce back, but when you get to your 30s, it just hits a little differently. And we're like, you want to be focused in the morning and be able to like have a great morning and have a good routine and feel great the next day. And it's interesting how your today really started yesterday.
wait
I
till you
want
get
to,
to your 40s.
oh, you're not in your 40s yet, Laura. Calm down.
Yeah. It's a big one.
Um,
Yep.
I read an interesting stat, and it was talking about how when people go on vacations, if you do not drink, you actually get 30% more time on vacation if you do not drink
Oh,
than if you were to drink.
That's
Because
interesting.
of, like, again, feeling like whatever, really bad, waking up
Ass.
really late. Yeah, exactly. But it was a really interesting fact. They had it broken down, and it was 30% more time on vacation if you didn't drink.
Yeah, yeah, that's sleeping in. So I know that there are probably most people on this call have kids, be it dads or moms. And I knew you before the first baby. I want to know how your business has changed since you're a dad, and what does that reality really look like, and how do you manage that? I know you have a really great wife, so we should definitely give Stormy props. I'm going to preempt that by saying, tell us a little bit too about, like, I think how she was in the business and what she does to kind of support you and is also in the industry, because I think that's an interesting dynamic because you're both doing real estate in some
Yeah.
capacity and always and have for a while.
Yeah. So Stormy is owns a transaction coordinating business. She helps around 25 different agents between here and Dallas, actually Houston and Dallas, and throughout the whole thing. So, listing side, buyer side, communicating with title company, basically just doing everything for you, which is awesome. It's funny, she is my wife, but she's the best transaction coordinator I've ever used as well. And it's because she just cares. We actually laugh a little bit because we say that she cares a little too much sometimes, but it's just she really cares. So that's what she does, and it's really good because she can do that, from home and on the go, and she can still be like an entrepreneur and not have dedicated hours. Um, the kids dynamic definitely changed a lot, though. You had to, like, from my regular workday stuff, you just because you have to kind of pivot and figure things out. And I get, for instance, before kids, I would never get up in the morning and work out, even though I should. Like, knowing now what I know, I would want to, but I would do the workouts usually in the afternoon after work sometime, and it would just be a normal thing. You just don't have that luck, and time is the most important thing, in my opinion, over anything else. And so, yeah, it was figuring out the time blocking schedule to make me most efficient at work and most efficient as a father and a husband. And so now I think I do have that. I typically leave the office now around 3:30 or so. If I'm actually picking them up, I'll leave at 3. Um, and I do some things after that, but not a lot. So I just, again, have to have to try to be so hyper focused the time that I am here, because I don't have as many hours now to dedicate to it as I did.
Has your business, since you've had, how old is your oldest now?
4.
So in the last 4 years, has your business remained steady? Has it grown?
So it was an
Ish. I
interesting
know it's
time in
been kind
real
of weird
estate.
since
Yeah, it's been.
COVID. Yeah.
Um, I think it dipped a little bit, and now it's getting back to normal. And
Okay.
this is my first year back where I felt like, or my first year where I felt like it's getting back to normalish, like thing. Um, okay, sorry. When he was born, I spent basically 18 months at home with Stormy, where I didn't even like work that much at the office or anything like that, which it was during COVID time as well. So it was like we're all at the house, but I just worked from home and I didn't work a whole lot. I really felt like that, and that really took a nosedive, and that's where I was like, I really got to figure this out. Otherwise, it's not going to be good.
Got it.
So then refiguring out what I needed to do, and getting that time blocking schedule back with a child there. That's what I had to figure out, and I did. I figured it out, and it's been great now. But it did take a dip until I figured it out, and then it's on uphill now.
But you survived and you got beautiful children.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
survived.
I think you're okay, and you kind of figured out how to, like, get back on track doing the same stuff that you did when you figured it out the first time.
you have to be like brutally honest with yourself too. Like,
Correct. That is correct. Oh, Am I frozen?
There you go. I think you're
You
safe.
lagged a little bit.
Okay.
I think you have to be brutally honest with yourself too. Like your business goes in cycles, right? So you almost have to self-audit and go, is what I'm doing working? Am I seeing results? Do I need to change? Or is it okay to sacrifice my business a little bit because I've got a brand new baby and you're gonna blink and he's gonna be 4 years old. And so
Yeah.
give yourself some grace. I think that's awesome.
Mhm.
You are like the master. I feel like I always tell people go deep rather than wide. I feel like we're always looking for shiny objects and we're always getting an email of something that we can swipe our credit card for to become successful. And you've built a really great business on people who already know, love, and trust you, and then they send you other people who know, love, and trust you. So I'm kind of directing your answer in some way, but one of the questions that we had was, what's a misconception people have about success that you want to clear up? And you can share your answer, but then also kind of tie in how you've kind of built your business and been so successful, and maybe the misconceptions around that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the misconception around it was success, right? That was it. Um, it changes with time. So your definition of success whenever you first start out is going to be different than, 10 years from now. So my success starting out was money driven. My success now is time driven, for sure. I want as much time as I can, back or whatever, every day, every weekend, all that. And I think that's maybe not a misconception, but maybe some that people don't really think about that. I think when you're younger, it's perfectly fine to be like hyper financially money driven. But it's okay for that to change as well. And then it all correlates. As far as my like repeat and referral business now, Amanda, is that what you were speaking of? Like,
Yes, you're like a pro at going deep rather than wide on you
yeah.
don't like you started your business doing the 20 phone calls a day and doing the open houses every weekend, and I feel like what worked for you back then is not needed now.
Correct. Yeah, I don't have to do that many contacts or open houses or things like that now as much. So yes, I systems is so important in our business. And the main thing that I'll say is I check in with every one of my past clients every 3 months, every holiday, every birthday. And it's a personal touch. And that's what I do. I don't let AI do it for me. I don't have any automated system that does it for me. I do it specifically myself through my follow-up system. And my follow-up system is what's actually is reminding me to, hey, reach out to Zach today, or hey, reach out to, John or whoever it might be. So if you have that system in place and you're constantly touching on people like that, they're going to remember you. They're going to constantly remember you because they're going to respond to you and they're going to see your name come up a lot. Another thing that I do that may be a little different, and some agents aren't going to agree with it, but if I meet a person in person, if I've shown them a house, if I went to a listing appointment, if I've done any of that, I follow up with that person until I die or they tell me to stop. And so I seriously am following up with people that I showed like 4 years ago, and I'll keep checking in with them every 3 months, and I'll continue to do it. And I've gotten so much business from that to where, again, you're just constantly getting referrals, repeat business. And then someone that hadn't responded to you in seriously 5 years, I had this happen this year, 5 years, just reaches out and says, hey, I need to sell my house. And then you're just like, great, that's awesome, and you go about doing it for them. So having systems in place and actually, implementing that is massive. It's not hard to do, but it's easy not to do. If that
So
makes sense. So
I don't want to turn this into like a technical training class, but what do you use and how do you, so every 3 months you're following up with people. Are you using your
yeah,
CRM? Are you using your cell phone? Do you have a reminder in your Google Calendar? What do you do?
good question. I use my CRM. I use Follow Up Boss. I've used KV Core before. It's the same, but I use Follow Up Boss now. So I have a task, and that task again, I'll say it's Zach, and I'll click on Zach. I already know Zach's entire story because I've been following up with him forever, right? I don't have to look back at my notes or anything like that. What I typically do is on my computer, I'll just type in Zach. I'll see the last thing that we had corresponded, and then I'll write something new, and that's what I'll do. Or if I've texted a few times, like so, it's been maybe 6 months, I'm going to send a video, and it's seriously a video like this. Hey, Zach, how's it going, man? How's the house treating you? Any questions about real estate? Like, seriously, it's nothing fancy.
Contrived. Like you don't overthink it. You just kind of go with
Absolutely.
whatever you're feeling in the moment.
I'll do it in the car. I'll be wearing a cap. I don't care. I'll be wearing a t-shirt. It doesn't matter. Like that has zero effect on if I'm what I'm going to send. And then yeah, that I send that and I just do that. And then once I do that on any follow-up systems the same, I mark that it was done. I add a new task and I put that task for 3 months afterwards. If it's around holiday time, I will move it to Thanksgiving and then to Christmas and New Year's because I send out one for Thanksgiving, one for Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
And that way I touch everybody that is like then as well. But that's all I do. I don't do anything special other than that. I just make sure that I have that system in place because it's so easy to have things fall through the cracks.
What's cool
How
is
many? Oh, go ahead.
for those of you who are like introverted or always in your own head or perfectionist, Mikey started that way, right? He was like, "Oh, Jeff, will you look at my text? Will you look at my video before I send it?" And now he's like, "I don't care if I'm driving down the highway. I'm gonna just send it. Like I'm just gonna put it out there." I've seen where he's if you've got an iPhone, it's all the blue dots. There's like 2 years worth of blue dots, and nobody's responded to him at all. And instead of going, "Oh, I'm being denied," or "Someone's not liking me," or "They're trash," I'm just gonna toss the lead for another 2, 3 years, he's sending them little love messages. And I think that most realtors would have tossed the lead by then. And he's just resilient in that way. And I think that we could all kind of learn from that.
Mindset.
How?
It's not a personal. Like they are busy. They real estate's not at the top of their mind. And that's usually what ends up happening. I'll have really close past clients that I've helped 4 or 5 times not respond for a year. And then they'll say, "My God, Mikey, I'm so sorry that I haven't responded. This happened." And it's all good. It doesn't affect me. But I do know newer agents that does really affect. You just have to know it's just part of it. It's just send the message, move on. Send the message, move on. Like that's all it is.
Don't take it personal.
Do not take it personal.
Right. So, how many people are you doing this with, and what is your weekly routine or your daily routine? Like, how do you weave this into your time blocking?
Yeah. So I do this with about 250-ish people. I have 300, I don't know, like 315 or something in my actual follow-up. But and there's people that let's be clear here. There's people that I've helped that I do not do this with because I don't want to work with them again, right?
Yeah.
We get to choose who we work with. It's not the other way around. Yeah, keep that in mind. But my weekly, I work this into my follow-ups. So in the morning, I really try to do lead gen stuff, and I'm on different kind of referral websites and like referrals that come in. So I try to do all of that stuff in the morning, and then I do the follow-up stuff in the afternoon. And so this is just like part of it. That's how I would do it Monday through Friday. I try not to, when I'm scheduling them, I try not to have a bunch of people on one day because it's really difficult to complete. Like if I have 35, 40 of those to do in one day, it's difficult, even though it has happened. And so yeah, that's why I just try to stagger them and just continue to stagger them. But yeah, that's how I do it. I do lead gen in the morning, lead follow up in the afternoon, and these would be lead follow up. Remember, in my opinion, and how I was taught, and I'm going to not use the technical terms, but your give a shit meter is the highest in the morning. And so to do the difficult things, it's easier in the morning. Don't wait till the afternoon after you've eaten lunch and all that stuff to make your calls and contacts and all that stuff for new lead gen. Do that in the morning. The lead follow-up's easier because I already know Zach. Zach already knows me. For me to send a video is super easy.
That's a good point. Do you ask for referrals, or do they just naturally come to you from these people based on your persistence and then your service, obviously, if you've done transactions with them?
That's a great question. I usually ask, and I'm going to do this with ask once a year. And it's usually my January message that I do. And I usually do a video in January. And I just let them know. Like, I've checked in with them. They know that I'm in real estate. And I just say, "Hey guys, anybody need, looking to buy or sell this year that I can help? I'd love to help them out. I loved helping you guys and, send them my way." And those responses are always, "Oh, Michael, if I hear anybody, I always send them your way or whatever." But yeah, I don't ask every time for sure. So it's like once a year that I do that. And the funny story here, or not funny story, but funny fact, most uh, like response I get is the holiday card messages that I send out with the kids on them. I always get responses from people that don't respond ever, but they'll respond to my Christmas holiday message.
Our few boys. Well, I love that you do it in January because people have already had their holidays. They've gotten the warm and fuzzy Christmas card. They've had their vacation. And then you can truly say, hey, I made a business plan and I want to sell 50 houses this year. And you are awesome. I need more people like you. So
That's
that's
right.
scary.
It's worked too. Like it's actually worked where they're like, oh, you know what? Like somebody was just let me, and it's actually happened. I don't expect that to happen a lot, but if you don't do it, that'll never happen. And so just be consistent.
Yeah, if
Consistency is key in all aspects.
you don't ask, the answers already know. Okay, so I do these Zooms, and my goal is for everyone to walk away with things that they can implement right away because it's really cool to hear your story. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't think I can duplicate that." Like he sells like so many houses and makes so much money, and he's got investment property and all these things. It feels like a lot, right? What are two or three actionable steps that people could do at any level, even if they're new, that they could start applying to their business right away and start to be on the right track and see some momentum?
So I don't consider myself old school, but some people think I am. And I'm just gonna say it. If you don't have a client base and you don't have that, make phone calls. There's a plethora of lists out there that you can get. If you don't have, like, let's say you don't have $100 or something to pay for a dialer system, get with your mentor, get with your sponsor. Someone will be totally okay with sending you 100, 200, 300 people to call. That is how you're going to get comfortable having conversations with people, overcoming objections, learning scripts, and that will build up your client base immediately. So make phone calls is key. Do open houses. That's an actionable thing that everyone can do. And I get it. There's a lot of houses out there, but be selective with the houses that you're holding open. If the house has been on the market 115 days, probably not the best one to hold open, unless you're doing it for a favor or something. But really try to, find those newer listings, newer price reductions, and don't listen to noise of other agents. I feel like that maybe have not had success because typically it's a system issue and it's not an open house issue. And then have a lot of new agents don't really properly use their follow-up system effectively. Immediately put in every single person that you think could possibly buy or sell real estate ever in that system. Um, and that will get you started the right way in your follow-ups, you actually reaching out and checking in with people. And then from that point forward, open house people that you meet, your new contacts that you're getting from, the calls that you're making, and those three items right there will feed you forever. It really will if you just do it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget that when you get your license, you are now a business owner. Like you are the CEO of your business. And so that database is important. And even if you know five people, right? Ask those five people, what five people do they know? And your database will grow. Okay, I'm going to open this up. We've got 15 minutes left for anyone who would love to ask Mikey or Michael Bass a question about real estate. I mean, he's a pro at systems, follow-up, scripts, anything. Like it's really cool to have him on here. So ask him any questions that you think will help you grow your business.
Are we all
I
about
actually,
calling Mikey? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lillian.
oh, sorry. I was just gonna ask if you could ask a guy who sells 50 plus houses a year, what would you ask him?
What I would ask him,
Yes, sir.
How you doing that?
Jeff's like, how you doing that, man? Which is honestly kind of true. Um, that's great because yeah, I would ask him how he's doing it, but more specifically, what lead generation system specifically is he using? Is it past clients referrals? Is it like an OpCity or a HomeLight? Is that this primary business? And get a percentage of what's happening here. Because maybe a guy that's selling 50 plus homes a year is doing 45 of them from one investor, and you might not know that. There's a lot of people out there that's their type of business. And so getting specifics on where they're actually getting their leads from, where they're getting their closings from, and then taking it a step further and just asking them how they're managing that. Like how do you manage 50 closings? Because you'll get a lot of answers from a lot of different people. They might have a TC that does certain things. They might have a specific, just assistant. They might be doing it themselves, but you will get little nuggets from the systems that they're using that you could then implement.
That's awesome. And ask them if they're happy. Because a lot of times people, like when Jeff and I sold like 750 houses that one year, we were miserable. But on the outside, people were like, oh my gosh, I want to be like them. They made so much money. Life sucked at that year. So maybe he's not your number. Maybe it's 36. Yeah.
It's funny, Amanda. That year, I always would ask Jeff if he's okay because he wasn't a great friend that year. He knows that. But it was just because he was so stressed and so busy, and he was like, "I don't care how much money I make. I never want to do that again."
That was like the first year that I started, like after my part-time years, and I started like interacting with Team Legacy and actually, participating. And I thought Jeff was an asshole. Like, I'm just gonna tell everybody. Like, I really did. I thought he was like a prick. I was like, this guy, man, I'm glad you got a nice wife because but I know now, like now that I look back on it, Jeff, you just weren't relaxed, So
that year he answered 0 phone calls, even for
yeah.
me. And that was the abnormal thing. Usually he'll always answer for me, but he wouldn't even answer my call.
Yeah. So
I like
ask them
that's a
if they're
good
happy.
question. Ask, are you happy? Or yeah.
No, when Mikey called me out, he's like, dude, I'll just be honest with you. You're just not being a great friend. At the time, I was like, dude, whatever, I'm busy. Like, don't come at me with that crap. And then, like, after a little bit, I'm like, man, I guess because I kept hearing that. Like, guy's kind of kind of an asshole. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be. I'm just busy. I don't know. Basically, that in that year and a half or two where I was really grinding, nothing really else mattered. I just wanted to close more and more deals. And then once I did it, like I got #1 team at EXP and all that kind of stuff. I remember coming back and getting the award and sitting down and looking at Amanda's like, I don't ever want to sell that many houses. And that was such a grind. I probably put on 20, 30 pounds. Like, it's not, again, looks cool. Oh, Jeff's on stage with the CEO, all this kind of stuff. It sucked. So,
Again, what's your version of success?
Yeah.
We didn't like you either, Jeff.
No, I wasn't asking you, Jeff, but I was saying like some people's version of success is that like financial super driven, close 700 homes, but then you get it and then you're like, oh shit, I don't want that. I would rather have my time. And that's what I'm saying. Your version of success, I was saying a little earlier, it changes for sure as time goes on.
Teddy, did you have something?
Yeah, I'll defend Jeff. That's the first year I met Jeff, and he was really giving and nice, and so was Amanda. So I have nothing to compare him to, though, Mikey. And that was the other question. The rest of us get to call you Mikey.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine with me.
So
I'm used to it now. So I mean, I was called that in my entire life growing up. So it was really only until I moved to Houston, so 23, when I actually changed, like when I introduced myself to people to Michael. So everybody that knows me, from home or my parents, my brother, it's Mikey. So I cannot introduce myself as Mikey. Yeah, I can't.
yeah, I feel you. I tried to grow up to Ted or Theodore, but all my friends from high school kept coming back in my life, and their parents and everybody else were calling me Teddy. So I just gave up and said, okay, it's Teddy. But no, the question I had is, and that was great. You're a great speaker, so I really appreciate it. And you gave up a lot of good nuggets. It's awesome. If you could, like, what is the most important part about your follow-up system? Because follow-up is really hard. It's easy to say, I'll follow up until they tell me, to F off or till I die. But what does that look like in terms of follow-up? I always try to give something of value, but honestly, I give up too. Like how many times can I give something of value without a response in return? And the funny thing is somebody might reach out to me 2 years later after I've given up. And I'm like, why did I give up? They were right there.
So, fun fact here, Teddy. I've only been told to F off one time in 13 years from someone that I kept checking in with. And so pretty good percentages, to be honest with you. Man, it's just implementing systems and following them. So if you put that person, whoever that might be, into let's say you use Bold Trails, or let's say you use Follow Up Boss or Chime or whatever you use. Um, if you put them in there and you assign a task and you always have that follow-up system open in your browser, like on my Safari, I always have that as a you can make it like small over to the side. I always have it open. Then every day you click on it and you see who you need to check in with. You click on them, you do them, you set new tasks, and you do them every single day. So, for instance, the guy that you forgot to, or you were done with, and 2 years later they reached out, that the likelihood of that to happen or whatever is it's more likely for them to do that. It's more likely for them to do it if you check in every 3 months, and it only takes a minute. It doesn't take long. So it's just making sure you implement your system to where every single day you have it opened and you see, okay, well, I have these 7 people to follow up with today. They're not all going to be past clients. Some of them are going to be a seller lead that you called and texted yesterday. They didn't respond. You got to call and text them again today, maybe call them a couple of times. So it's going to be some of those as well, new clients. But think about it. You're only going to have 7, maybe 15 of those to do. It's not going to take that long to do it. You just have to input the system or import them. I'm sorry, put them into your system and follow it. I always say this, and some people might disagree with me, but I say that if you're not using some kind of system on there, not the old paper system, but some kind of system that you have available to you through the internet now, you will not be as successful as you could be. And it's just a fact. I mean, it just is. So yeah, Teddy, that's what you would do, and just make sure you follow it and keep doing it. And it will become a habit. And then all of a sudden you're just doing it subconsciously every single day. Um, One little story here. I know we're getting close to 11. My most successful referral client came from a rental. The reason why that was most successful was because I checked in with them just like I would check in with any other client. I don't treat them any differently every 3 months because renters do become buyers, right? And this one rental lead has led to over, I shoot at this point, over $16 million.
Mikey, was anything really detailed about what you say or do when you follow up? And I think that Teddy and others do not underestimate the power of Mikey just caring about people. People want to be cared about, they want to be thought about. And especially if you're a nice guy like Mikey is, like they want a nice guy. I mean, if he was a jerk, it may not feel so warm and fuzzy, but like that, you don't have to quote your value can just be that you're thinking about them.
Thank you so much, Laura. Teddy, I forgot to answer that question because Teddy actually asked, like he tries to lead with value, and then sometimes you just can't think of anything. It's okay not to lead with value. Sure, you want to lead with value, some throughout the year, but you don't have to. Like just a simple, like especially if it's a past client, ask just saying, hey, how are you and Becky doing? Saw you guys like because I always try to add them on social media. Saw you guys got a dog. How is she? How whatever, right? Like it's just that simple. It's not a 2-minute video. It's a 25-second video being super personable, and that's it. And sometimes my text message is seriously just, hey guys, how's everything going? I know the market's very weird right now. Any questions about it? If you're curious, I can always get you a market analysis. Just let me know. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Like seriously. And that's it. Like it's nothing special. It's really not. It's just doing it consistently over and over again.
I think the more that we have technology and AI and all this stuff, these automations, the more we really crave just plain human interaction, like simple phone calls and just checking in for no reasons.
That's why I refuse to let AI do my past clients. And I will refuse to let them do it. I will not allow AI to do my past clients ever. I swear, I will not.
Okay, I think Lily has one more question. Lily?
All right, so I'm naturally introverted and I get into my head sometimes. I want to be successful, but I haven't seen that level of success in my personal life or around me yet. I was just wondering what advice do you have for me or would give to me about that?
So this is interesting, maybe for you to hear. Have you done a disc test, by the way? Do you know where you are on the disc?
Um, yeah, I believe I'm a I or a
Okay.
S.
So
Really high SC with a little I.
funny enough, when I first started real estate, I was a high S with a little bit of an I. And then my D as low as possible, like as low as possible. I was not assertive or anything like that. And that is how I started. The I portion helped me, kind of come out and make connections and talk with people. But the one thing that I learned throughout my career so far is that you can change that. My disc now is high D and my I is right here. So in the span of 13 years, my D came up to the highest part as far as how assertive I am in conversations and business. And my I is almost just as high because I want people to like me. I don't want people upset with me. It's one of those things as well. And I think that if you just get out there, start having, maybe start going to a few more social events that you feel awkward about, right? Like you're like, oh, I just really don't want to do that. Growth happens at the edge of our comfort zone and really beyond it. So just make sure that you know that that uncomfortable feeling is going to help you grow exponentially in your business, in your personal life. And then that disc where you are will change to a point to where all of a sudden you're manageable in this. Like you could sit here and you could talk in front of a lot of people and be okay with it as well, even though right now you might be super nervous right now. I started out like that, I promise you. And Amanda's an introvert as well. And it didn't just happen overnight. You have to teach your body and teach your mind to do it and that you can do it. And I think once you do that, it helps out a lot.
Does that help?
Yeah, that helps a lot, honestly.
So awesome. Thank you, Mikey, for being here, for sharing your secrets, for pouring into our agents. This is just like my favorite thing of the week. So we just are so thankful that we have you here to share 13 years of experience and life experience. And then next week is our third week. And the third week of every month, we do book club. And so it's not one book specifically. Everyone will bring a book or two that they're reading, how they implement it in their business, what ahas they took away from it. And you'll end up experiencing at least 10 or 20 books, which is really kind of cool. So same time, same link. And we're just thankful to be here. Thank you, Mikey. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
Mikey.
See y'all soon. Bye
See ya.
bye.
Bye.